Hey guys, good morning. This is Miss Madison. I wanted to check in. I know some of us, we have a couple new students and you guys don't know like who I am, so I wanted just to check in and say hi. I'm here with my puppies. This is Eleanor. Can you say hi, Eleanor? Say hi. Oh yeah. She's doing pretty good. Puppies like this, hanging out with her family all the time. Anyway, so I wanted just to touch base. I know you guys are thinking like, what's Justin Bieber doing on my English uh, classroom. But the fact is, I just cut my hair and that's what's going on. So it's kind of weird, but that's what that is. Yeah, so let's get started. So, a couple of things I wanted to show you guys. So, I'm getting used to this whole screencast biz. So, be patient with me as I go through this. So, here we have this is our English uh, literature Google page. You guys are all familiar with this. I wanted just to touch base. The first thing we're doing this morning is we're actually checking this out. I miss you, Pig Time. And we're posting. If you guys go to classwork, you'll see there's a place to post. It's called check-in. So for participation points, please share something that you have enjoyed that has made you happy during spring break. So again, it could be just a link or a comment, anything that's kind of raised your spirits that you've enjoyed over break so far, and just kind of post something that makes you happy. So that's the first thing. Make sure you guys go ahead and do that. Once you're done with that, then we're going to go back to looking at our actual assignment. So this is under classwork. So if you click under classwork, we're not doing the research essay this week. We will continue that next week. We're working instead on this reflective essay project. So this is all we're doing all week. And so you can click into this. There's one link to the actual assignment. Everyone should have a copy under Classroom right here. So you can see here is the actual assignment. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be listening and taking notes from multiple sources. So we're going to be synthesizing information into a coherent reflection on one topic. You guys get to pick your topic, which is kind of fun. So you can pick whatever interests you. I recommend actually starting off with the podcasts. And then once you find a podcast that interests you, you'll listen to it. And from the podcast, there's going to be some kind of theme or topic, and that's going to become the narrowed focus. So once you find your podcast, you listen to it, you're thinking about it, you're like, oh yeah, this reminds me of, the topic of forgiveness, or this whole thing is really about how they started selling pizza at McDonald's, right? Whatever the topic is in your podcast, that becomes the focus for the rest of your research. So choose carefully with your podcast. Once you've done that, you're going to take notes on what you've heard. So you're listening to the podcast, you write down the notes, you're thinking about it, you're like, okay, this is stuff that really stood out to me, stuff you might want to actually include in your essay, so examples or things that really stood out. You write that stuff down, and then you move on to TED Talks, and then you do the same thing. So you find a TED Talk, but it has to be on the same theme. So notice how you're like adding on to the same theme. With the next sort of genre. So you looked at podcasts, then you look at a TED Talk on it, and then you go to the moth recordings. And if you notice on the actual document you're going to fill out, you have your podcast. That's pretty easy. You find one. Again, take your time here. There's tons of podcasts. Pick one that's really interesting to you, because this is going to become the focus of your research this whole week. You're going to link to the podcast or the TED Talk, and then you take your notes here. So you repeat that. Once you get to the moth recordings, that's the third step. You're going to want to probably just do a general Google search for the moth stories about whatever your topic is. So just go to Google and do moth stories topic, whatever it is. And that should help you find it. Their database, it works, but it definitely isn't as fluid as obviously Google. And when you go to try to search on here, you're not going to find the topic that you want probably as easily. So I recommend just Google searching that one. And then obviously YouTube. So the last thing you're going to do is go to YouTube, find some kind of educational video about your topic. So not just any random video, there should be some kind of educational video. So make sure you type in something like philosophy or psychology or history to kind of make sure it's a valid educational YouTube video. And then you take notes on that. And once you've done all the note taking, that should take about 2 days. So you might do this today and you might do this a little bit tomorrow, keeping in mind we have about an hour of English every day. So roughly an hour of just listening to podcasts and TED Talks, taking notes. Tomorrow, same thing, listening to mock recordings of stories and watching a YouTube video, taking notes. And then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you start part 2. And this is where you really get to take those notes and combine them and think about overall on this topic, what do you think about it? What are your thoughts about the topic? What kind of conclusions and connections can you form? And what can we take away from all the stuff you read about or listened to? And basically keep in mind, this is not an academic writing assignment, so there's no need for formal tone. We'll be working on that with the research essay. For this, I just want you guys to explore this issue with humor and insight and be playful with your style, make your ideas powerful. This is a chance for you to practice with your writing, looking into a topic that's interesting and incorporating stuff from the world. Okay, good. If you have any questions, I'm going to be checking my email all morning until about noon. So feel free to email if you're like, hey, Miss Madison, what's up? Feel free to check in that way. If there's an emergency and you're like, I really need help, you can call me between 9 and 12. I will answer my phone during those hours just to answer questions if you guys are like, I need help, like right now. These are the deadlines, so keep in mind, you can probably finish the notes by tomorrow, and then you have 3 days to write your actual essay. It's a 1 to 2 pager, so I think it's pretty doable to write in a couple of days. Should be good. Due Friday at midnight. I will be scoring these for 100 points total, so make sure that they are, your best work. Okay, good. Have fun, you guys.